What is up? Welcome back to Mangalku. By popular infamy demand,
I'd say more infamy than anything else.
We're doing the whole series of Eden
It
Zero.
was so crazy that Josh didn't even want to show up for this one. He didn't
ran
want to
him
deal
off.
with the
He
hate.
couldn't handle the pressure. It's kind of
Yeah.
like Frankenstein when you guys burned him down in the windmill. You know? So that's how Frankenstein died, right?
Yeah.
The movie Frankenstein.
The movie, yes, at least.
So we are officially doing all of the rest of chapters Eden Zero. We go to 134, I believe is the last
134
one.
is the latest chapter.
And that's for posterity's sakes because it's an ongoing manga, so obviously going to keep going. And we started on chapter 69.
Everyone talked about Drakken Joe being the craziest thing ever, and
so
we were curious.
Yeah, we get basically two arcs that kind of go to completion here, and which was a perfect place to end, actually. We get all of Drakken Joe.
Yep.
We get all of Foresta, however you want to pronounce it. And that's pretty much the two arcs in all of those chapters. So, which is crazy. And we end just as they're getting out of a training arc.
Yeah.
It's kind of setting up the next arc, which was perfect. So I have a question for you, Zay.
Yes.
General question, and then we'll go more into
Did I like it?
Depth on what did you like it?
I did. I did very much enjoy
Now,
it.
would you, because we used to read Fairy Tail weekly.
Yeah,
constantly.
we did.
We were Fairy Tail was in the rotation constantly. We were on top of it. Would you continue to read Eden Zero weekly?
Oh, very much so. Actually.
Okay, so you really liked it.
I really did enjoy it.
Did these chapters, because we pretty much read as much before. If you guys haven't seen the early ones, we've done volumes 1 through 4 in one batch. Then we did volumes 5 through 8 in one batch. Did this change your opinion of the previous ones?
Whether it was more fairy tale-ish than anything?
Yeah.
I'd say different. It's a little more different. It's a lot heavier and darker in a sense.
Yes.
There was if it's spoiler free.
No, go ahead. Hey guys, we're gonna do the whole series. So if you haven't seen volumes 1 through 4 and 5 through 8, I'll link them and you can check them out there. So watch those beforehand. But we're going to full spoiler.
So watching the Drakken Joe, I was like, okay, he's a pretty nasty dude from what everyone says. I get there, I'm like, okay, it's pretty cool. Infiltration, they're doing stuff. They all get caught separated. I'm like, oh, this isn't very, very, very normal for the thing. I'm like, everyone's gonna win. Nope, they're all captured.
So obviously, as a broad general storyline, I thought it was quite good as well.
Yeah,
and I think, and I don't mean this as a bad thing towards it. I think once I settled into like, listen, this is just gonna be a fun shonen. I'm just gonna chill out. I'm not expecting any sort of like huge character growth. I'm not expecting any sort of legit consequences. I had a blast, an absolute blast.
I enjoyed it, like just from start to finish. So far, so good. And like I said, the arc takes a huge turn from mutilating Whis or Ys, and I was just like, holy fuck.
So I feel like let's start with Drakken Joe as a whole first. First of all, great villain. I love the design of Drakken Joe.
Amazing villain. I loved him. He was fucking badass.
And I have a couple of gripes with this arc as a whole. So first of all, the part where they do like, here's their first infiltration of Drakken Joe's area. Here's like what happens. They all get fucked on basically.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought that was so good. I'm always cheering for like, yeah, kill him off. Let's go, baby.
Sam's sadistic.
And they set it up where it's like, they kill Shiki.
Yeah.
And then they're like, this is, 2 weeks past after, or like 7 days after that. I'm like, oh, are we just going to continue without Shiki?
I was like, wait, did Shiki legit die? Like, what the fuck is this?
I was throwing for a loop. Like, they got me. There wasn't a moment in my mind that I was like, they're going to go back in time. I was like, is Shiki secretly alive still? Like, is he going to somehow come back?
See, I thought like maybe he did the Kakashi thing with the first nail that Pain threw at him. Remember, like he uses Kamui to like teleport one of them away and pretend he's dead.
Oh,
see, I thought it was gonna be like,
I'd be so salty.
I thought it was gonna be like Shiki
I'd be
stopped
so
it with
salty,
gravity, and
dude.
just like he did the whole thing and was just like, okay, I gotta play dead and lie low for a while.
Yeah, I was thinking that he must be alive, or there must be somebody who's gonna come and like revive him or whatever.
And now he's more mecha
because they were
kind
of showing everybody all fucked up, and I was like, oh, okay.
My boy lost his whole fucking right arm.
Yeah,
or left arm. I don't remember.
And then of course,
they prostituted my girlfriend. Dude, that's bullshit, Hamura.
It of course leads to Rebecca. You finding out that she has Cat Leaper is what it's called.
Yeah,
and it basically can go back in time, which is crazy.
I thought it was super cool and broken. I was like, okay, this is cool.
So I would say after reading, we're all completely caught up to Eden Zero. It seems like the author, and I don't know what came first, but from things I've read, I can clearly see like influences of other manga in this.
Yeah, very much so.
So like that, when I saw the Cat Leaper thing, I immediately went towards like, oh, it's like Vanessa from Black Clover.
Yeah.
Where she has the cat that can change the fate.
Yep.
Where it's overpowered as fuck. But because of that, now my mind immediately went to I watched it, I was like, okay, sweet, loved it, really cool one time. And then I was like, how do they possibly work that into any other fight?
And she talks about it again later on. But, you know, it didn't damage it for me. It's just like, okay, now they get a redo. Now
I have a problem, and we talk about it before, like on our Bleach podcast that we do very early on in Bleach, one of the iconic fights is Ichigo versus Byakuya.
Yeah.
And he gets both of his powers revealed instantly, like Byakuya does. You know, he's Shikai and then into his Bankai, which are the two main powers if you haven't seen Bleach. Boom,
and
boom,
then it's
boom.
like, how much more powerful can you get after that?
Yeah, so once it's revealed, it's like, damn, that's like, you have a really cool moment. It's a thing that happens in all of anime, all of manga. Really cool moment, but then new bad guys come along. They're more powerful. Newer bad guys come along. They're more powerful.
Where were these guys the whole time?
Yeah, where it's like now it's like, oh, well, how are we going to write in Rebecca's literal ability to just go back and try again?
Yeah.
Which they kind of basically, you know, do like I won't be able to, like, I don't know how I did the really far one. Like, that was special. But the 3 second, 5 second one is kind of cool.
That's just like me pressing E on Tracer and rewinding 3 seconds. Yeah.
So it's kind of like they took a bit of like the Vanessa from Black Clover, which the pacing is just like Black Clover as well because they don't fucking stop.
They
oh my
stop
god,
I loved it.
And then they took a little bit of like a ReZero with the rewinding the time bit, and then now. Well, we get to the Foresta arc and we actually break into the Aoi cosmos. I don't know, AOE.
I've been calling it AOE.
I don't know how you would pronounce that, but once we break through the Dragon cosmos and get to the whole brand new area, it's One Piece.
Yeah, right?
It's totally One Piece.
I love One Piece, so I'm like, oh my god, they're searching for stuff. Yes.
It's like, I was so crazy. It's like, oh, here's like the baby space, which was like, here's the baby sea in One Piece. And then they break through, they're like, here's the big boy sea.
I think he did a great job, like, introducing us to Eden Zero, but like, okay, happy-go-lucky. Yeah, it's all about friends. You meet the friends, you love them. And then it starts slowly getting darker. And then it's like, okay, now we're just like in a huge infiltration arc where it's just like shit happens. They get fucked up, legitly fucked up. Then it's like, okay, they get one more chance to redo it.
So I do have a gripe with the time travel thing as a whole, Jose.
I knew this was coming. I knew it. The minute I read that, I was like, Sam's not going to.
I have a big gripe. So Rebecca goes back in time and she is able to retain all of her memories. And you do see for a second as well, Ian Pino like kind of has a glimpse of keeping one of her memories as well. Like she kind of remembers like, oh, what was that?
Like vaguely.
So mainly Rebecca is the only one that could remember anything at all. She comes back and she's like, oh, I know what's going to happen. So they have the meeting. Obviously, they share the information. Here's what's going to happen. They change their game plan to where now they're just going to do a bull rush, basically.
Yeah, I love that, though. They're just like, nah, we're just going head first.
They're just going to blitz it. Jose, I would love for you to defend this, okay? They do not change their strategy enough based on the information provided to them.
I mean,
that they should have won.
They knew everything was incoming. Like they knew the people that were going to infiltrate. They took care of that.
I give them the infiltration one because the whole infiltration bit was like, oh, we're going to sneak them.
Yeah, but
so it's like they got the element of surprise, ripped that from underneath them. I give them that fight. They used that. I'm talking about the 4 elements.
Okay, the 4 elements versus the 4 shining stars.
They did not do any sort of special matchups. They didn't change anything. They didn't prepare well. They didn't and the only one that I would give them as that's you guys matched it up correctly is Sister and the other torturing guy.
Dude, I love Sister. Oh
Sister's
my god,
great. Absolutely fantastic. But if you can't tell which I'm referring to in familiar, I'm going to shit on your woman.
Leave her alone.
She did not deserve to win that fight.
She figured it out.
She
figured it out.
How?
Quicker. I have no idea, but she did it better.
She didn't deserve because all they knew, because obviously you only know the information that Rebecca knows.
Yeah.
So at most, what does Rebecca know about that win chick that she can just win and she can capture stuff? Well, so that information, Homura, who lost previously, already knew that as well.
But Homura also lost her twice and was shaken up from it. This time she was more of a determined mind.
Jose, she did nothing to change her strategy. She could have done all of the moves Homura used to win against it's Clean and who's the is it Clean? It's Clean, right?
Clean, yeah.
She didn't change anything. And she's just like, oh, I actually have this anti-win style that I'm going to use now. Why wouldn't we use that in the other timeline?
She had no idea. This is a different world.
Like, what the fuck? I was so butt blasted. I wasn't taking any notes the whole time I was reading. I was like, let me pull out the fucking Google Docs. I'm fucking,
no.
I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
I do agree, though. Like, I'm like, how did she know she could do this now?
I understand the fact that Homura, sometimes there's bad matchups.
Yeah,
it just happens. And one of the things when they were in the Coliseum with the person who could see the time,
yeah,
she was all about here's matchups that you're gonna have to face and here's how you kind of have to beat them. Homura did nothing different and just decided, oh, yeah, I have wind crane style, so I'm going to win now. It was like, where did that style come from?
Honestly, that was my biggest complaint with the whole thing, too. I would love to say that Homura would have just owned her right immediately, but I just don't know where that came from.
They should have just switched her.
So it's like, I don't know if she came up with that conclusion on some point, because I know she probably wouldn't have been able to take on the sniper dude right away, because, I mean, she would have gotten shot right away unless she can deflect all those bullets.
Yes. She could have done Water Guy. Like, come on. She could have done Water Guy. Yeah, I think she could have done Water Guy.
I think so.
You don't cry, but she probably, it's not. She doesn't have any good matchups there, so maybe I understand why they give her the wind person. But like all of a sudden, she's
my
like,
thing with
I
the
have
wind thing is like she can cut through wind like effectively with the blade.
She can cut through water then as well, dog, because it doesn't make any sense. And then like all of a sudden, it's just like, oh yeah, your wind sucking shit won't work on my blade. It's like. It seemed to work pretty well last time you guys fought.
She was shaken up.
I just, and then a big point of contention. If anybody wants to debate in the comments, I'm there at the Otaku. Shout out.
He will box you for as long as he can.
A big comparison because we compare this to Fairy Tail in Space is what we said last time, which was a big no-no apparently. I'm going to stand by my comparison here because
I think it's doing its own thing
and
now.
I quote, they fucking do the time travel thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, oh, there's no POF in this. You know POF, Jose?
Nope.
Power of friendship.
Oh, yeah,
there's no power of friendship in this. Oh, totally different.
But I mean, that's literally what the Dragon...
Jose, do you know what power of friendship moment I'm going to refer to right here?
Yeah, just hit me with it.
Shiki pulls out Overdrive out of nowhere. Just doesn't do any extra training. Doesn't know anything about it. Rebecca couldn't have known about the fight he previously had where he tried to go overdrive, but only went halfsies. And how does he get overdrive? He remembers all of his friends crying, and he uses the power of friendship to get fucking full-blown overdrive. Bullshit, dude. Bullshit.
I'm not saying that power of friendship isn't in this, but it's definitely not a fairy tale for me.
Dude, it's almost identical to they obviously.
Are you talking about like the Agnologia fight where he remembers everything?
It's crazy. They seriously, and I'm not saying one for one, but they, I'm gonna go full into a lot of these arcs. They are basically, when they get Gajeel in Juvia, they have basically done that on the ship as well.
Yeah, that's true. They're starting
almost
to recruit
identical.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, everybody's got cool backstories. And then power of friendship is coming into play now, where it's like, oh, we're fucking gonna pull overdrive out of my ass and do whatever.
I just think that he knew what he was doing when he came up with a formula, and he saw how well Fairy Tail did it, and it's just like it's kind of hard to break from a mold sometimes. And I get it's the same author. I just want to say before everybody pauses the video and freaks the fuck out, I did like this. Yeah. I liked it. This for me is still on the Fairy Tail level of I'm enjoying it a lot. And it's a lot of chapters. I'm enjoying this a lot. I think there are certain parts that are so much directly a tribute to Fairy Tail that I enjoy. Yeah, I mean that's the reason we fell in love with Fairy Tail in the first place. The power of friendship stuff. I mean, Gajeel becomes a friend, and what did we get with Jin? Yeah. I mean, he did it for his sister. We knew he was becoming a friend the moment he was fucking introduced. You don't make cool ninja mech guy and not make him a fucking member of the gang. But yeah, he's cool. He did it for his sister, so I understand he had a reason to be on the ship and everything. Mm-hmm. And then, do you remember Laguna? Yes. That little tidbit where he's like, I'm just pretending to be the guy who needs to go on a planet. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And you would say kind of similar to Gajeel when he was like doing a secret mission on the side. So, oh fuck, I forgot about that. I'm just saying there's a lot of direct comparisons to be made here. And a part that I did like that was like so beat you over the head with a Fairy Tail reference that I was like, all right, as someone who really liked Fairy Tail before the last arc, I loved any part with Elsie and basically Jalal. I was all about, dude. Anytime I can see both of them, I'm totally fine. Like, and his name is Justice. When Justice goes into his Star Crusade mode or whatever, he looks identical to Jalal. He's got the cloak and everything. I was like, my man. I was just like, and that was so obviously as corny as it is. I love the whole little like, do you remember the last time we were this close? I'm like, yes, dude. I'm not even joking. I laughed when they kiss and it zooms out and they stabbed each other. I knew it. I was like, I knew it. I knew that was. It was going to happen. I loved it. It was so fucking funny, dude. I seriously was like, hey, I'm all about it, man. I fucking loved that part. And did you notice, though, Elsie's number 1 or number 2 and number 3, because she's number 1. Yeah. Does that work like that? They normally have a number 1, right? Yeah, so, like, I mean, if we're going in One Piece terms, it's a Luffy, Zoro's his first mate.
Yeah. Oh, so maybe she has a number 1 that we haven't met yet.
Oh,
because the other 2 were number 2 and number 3.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, actually.
Anyways, number 2 and number 3, they had fire and ice powers.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I love this very much. It reminds me so much of Fairy Tail.
I was like, all right, well played. I love it.
It's one of those where it's like you can definitely watch Eden Zero before Fairy Tail and fall in love with it completely. I still think it's its own entity. It's Eden Zero all the way through. But when, let's say you watch this first, then you go to Fairy Tail, you're going to be like, oh, this is very much like an aesthetic of Eden Zero and stuff. But
now, would you say, Jose, because obviously Fairy Tail is done, so let's pretend that Fairy Tail, let's not compare
it's a 1,000-year quest.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, so Fairy Tail kind of is going on.
Yep.
Would you say if someone's like, hey, I'm interested in checking out either Fairy Tail or Eden Zero, which one do you think I should go for?
Just because Fairy Tail is technically wrapped up.
See, that's why I didn't want you to put that in your don't put that in your judgment.
Okay.
Don't, because I think that obviously that's the way to go. So if Fairy Tail, let's just pretend they're both.
We don't have a lightning user yet, okay?
Okay,
so
that's gonna sway
me, dude.
Laxus is gonna sway you over to fucking Fairy Tail.
I love Laxus, dude. But I'm honestly, this feels a little bit more refreshing.
I'm more interested to compare. Like, I think a better comparison will be what does the anime of Eden Zero look like compared to the anime of Fairy Tail?
You might not have seen it, but I just sent you the trailer for it.
Yeah,
it looks
really, really good.
Great.
But I want to see the whole thing. I want to see the whole thing because a big part of Fairy Tail for us was the music. We were jamming out to the music.
We loved all the music
throughout
all of it.
So I mentioned to see
I
the
think this
finished
is going to be
product.
great regardless.
I think so as well. Back to actual Eden Zero. I'm off the Fairy Tales topic, but I'm just saying that there's obvious fucking points there. So I don't want to hear shit all about, it's not like Fairy Tail. Oh my God. Same author. He's doing the same plot points and he's power friendship. It's there. I saw it. So I'm all caught up. You guys are back the fuck up.
It is a lot more heavy. It is more gruesome. I do agree that the story.
Does it even count as being heavy if it never even happened? Like,
I mean, graphic wise, yes.
Yeah, I guess they would. I think there's some dark parts in Fairy Tail. Like, people get tortured and stuff in Fairy Tail.
Yeah, but not like gunned down like they did like in the forest. What was the planet's name?
Foresta.
Foresta. Like, humans were treated as fucking slaves, and then some of them were glaxed.
Which once again was a One Piece part. That's all I'm saying. So.
I'm okay with that because I mean I love One Piece, but people got glacked.
Yeah.
Dude, that robot who was just like, "What's that? You take care of your human." Boom.
Yeah, but it was. Yeah, I mean. There's parts that are that bad in Fairy Tail too. It's like I don't remember. I really don't feel like there is one that's, and I'm fine with that. Like, I really liked this. I'm just saying there's a lot of direct correlations happening, and I think with Eden Zero he's gotten better, and he's like, okay, now I know.
It's like I learned from my mistakes, or just like I want to take this.
Like, I know how to do it better. He's basically like, I'm gonna take that and do it way better. And I love the setting of Eden Zero so much more than Fairy Tail. So much more. The space stuff, the space pirate stuff, I'm all fucking about it.
I love it too. Like, space pirate, we have two different types of Oration Sace. We got...
Yes, that was confusing,
I was like,
dude.
The galactic kind and then the interstellar one.
I'd be so mad if I was like part of the galactic or the bad guy one.
And someone walks up, he's like, hey, I'm part of the Oration Sace. Oh, okay, you're my homie then.
Yeah, like, no, we're intergalactic, actually. It's like, you guys can think of a better name. Like, you couldn't literally just steal our name and add a different adjective on the back
exactly,
like,
right.
What the fuck is that?
But, I mean, I love it because, again, that's a Fairy Tail reference as well.
So, I mean, Drakken Joe, I thought was actually a fantastic arc.
Oh,
I loved it. It was really, really good.
Everyone, you were completely right on how good it was.
That is definitely the best arc by far. It's kind of interesting that Shiki... he did beat Drakken Joe, but only really because they kind of weakened him as well.
Yeah, so I think that whole thing played an effect because it was smart. This time they're like, okay, we know how we're going to beat him. This is how it's going to have to be done. Everyone needs to work together to beat him. So that was the one where it was like, okay, they used kind of the future intelligence and change how they were going to do it and knew that they would lose directly to Drakken Joe. But it's still stupid of Shiki to just decide, even though he knows he lost before, to just go straight after Drakken Joe. Kind of dumb. I did like the Drakken Joe keeping count of what, like, timeline or like. Yeah, I thought that was cool. He's like number 29.
Dude, yeah, when he said number 29, and then the next chapter he was like number 30. I was like, oh, he's like somehow like he knows track.
Yeah,
and you find out it's Noah.
Yeah, but the craziest part was the captain. What's his name?
Connor.
Captain Connor was no longer there, and no one remembered him. And I was like, what?
Yeah, so that's a weird part. That's definitely, obviously, going to come up later. You see Connor kind of, like, he does kind of remember as a dream he mentioned, and, like, a fond one. Like, he's like, oh, that was really nice. Like, I like that. So he wasn't, like, in timeline 29, he wasn't actually, like, acting as a bad guy.
No,
like,
he was legit helping them.
Yeah. Like, and I thought he was gonna be secretly a bad guy or something, but he was legitimately like, no, I was like, I'm just helping out.
Yeah,
that
was a nice twist. And then again, we see them after the Drakken Joe. We head back to Granbell.
Yeah, Granbell. Yep.
And
poor Ziggy.
Oh my God.
So I gotta put your chips on the table, Jose. Is he legitimately a bad guy? Or is he like, oh, I was actually corrupted or something?
I think he was corrupted.
So you don't think, because the end universe explanation for what is happening to Ziggy is basically when he was going to find Mother, he got his memories erased at some point.
At some point, yes. It looked like, I don't even know how to
So I'm trying to remember the explanation. He lost his memories at some point, and then he found Shiki. And so he was like, for some reason, he was drawn to Shiki. He can't remember what that reason is, but he remembers it later in the chapter.
Yeah.
And so when he awakened, he was already back at Granbell, like having this thing, and then he lost his energy for some unknown reason.
Yeah.
And then when he awoken, he now had his full Demon King memories, and he is saying he was originally a bad guy. He just lost his memories.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. But even the four shining stars can't remember anything past the soccer.
Yeah,
cosmos.
which there's something going on there.
And I'm
where
like, ooh, I like this a lot because I don't know if they were bad guys before now.
Well, their piece, no. So I don't know if you've caught on. So Witch, she keeps going around asking, were we with Ziggy like when he was doing all these trials? And like, no, like
so that means they came afterwards, right? Like
I don't know. They don't know. They I don't think so. Something must have happened when between the time they were in the base baby cosmos, and then they went out to the outer, through the dragon cosmos, where Ziggy either turned them off for good, abandoned them, because they remember their times before that.
Yeah.
So clearly they were there before that doing it, and then when they left, they don't remember anything after that.
Yeah, because they went to the Red Cave place, right? Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Everyone beach. I love it. In Canon Beach episode. In Canon Beach episode. I love it very much. But they go down there and what was it? Witch comes back and she's like, hey, I'll be right back. Dips out, brings Laguna.
Yeah. Which I like that part. It was like, I kind of like that they basically found this part where they couldn't actually make it past. And they're like, we got to get somebody else. It was like, okay, cool. I like that. I'll take it.
But I felt so bad for the chick that was in there. She was like attached to the thing and her man. Oh, I was like, oh. It was just like a little bit.
I was kind of thinking she was going to join the crew, but
Same.
I was like, all right, that's fine. She could just hang out there. Fuck it.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone came back to life after they found the relic.
Yeah.
Except for Andrew.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Because he's human, dude. He got fucked.
You can't live 200 years as a human.
The relic, the MVP. He's like, what's up? Do we want to talk about the brief appearance we get of the Demon King's 4 Dark Stars that we see?
I think we should, because it's important to start the next arc already.
So he has Wizard, Clown, Brigantine, and Killer.
Yeah,
are his 4, which we don't see them do anything as of yet, aside from we know that they are all androids and machines as well, except for Connor.
Connor's the only one.
The only one.
Do you remember when they were? They're like, no, let's kill him. He's like, yeah, but they're just women and children. We can't do that.
Yeah. And then, of course, Elsie shows up to talk to
Babe.
Eden's 0 and Eden's 1 after the confrontation, where you basically find out Eden's 1 is infinitely better.
Yeah, it's the completed version, because Eden 0 was the prototype.
They just got absolutely mollywopped. Elsie had to come in and save him, which badass. What can you say?
God, I love her.
But you find out in that this is one thing I've found very interesting, is in that basic conversation where Elsie remembers all the nice time she had on Eden 0 and how that basically is how she runs her ship, where she lets anybody join her ship. Like if they need help.
Yeah, because they had the one guy who was a spy technically.
Yep. So she lets anybody join. But she mentioned that when she was just a kid, like when she was still on the Eden 0, she had strength comparable to Valkyrie.
Oh, that's right. She was already a massive fighter. Yeah,
so she is super strong.
Yeah.
Like legit super strong. And you find that later, when the anti-Erasion Sace, whatever, Galactica, calls in to talk to Justice after, he's kind of like at a standstill.
Yeah.
And the girl that
Holy.
Holy is like, give it another 5 or 6 years, she's going to be like a fucking disaster.
Yeah, they just know they have to take her out.
I love her, dude. She's basically Erza.
I know, but
how can you not?
Yeah, exactly. She's such a great character, though. But I want her to come back and her and Justice to have like that touching moment where they're like, yeah, let's just be us together.
Yeah, and it seems like their backstory is pretty interesting.
Right. She's a princess. He's technically a prince, and they were supposed to unite in marriage.
And then clearly there was like the classic, kind of old-timey story where one family's super corrupt and
Yep.
like the other wants to fix it by doing the correct process of like becoming king and then changing it when he's king. But then the other's like, no, the people need to know now and fix it themselves.
Yeah.
And that's basically where that blew up.
That's some gnarly stuff. But in that whole arc right there that we're talking about, we also get Ziggy's original master.
Yes. Which he's instantly a badass.
That move he does,
the
dude.
gravity move is crazy.
Dude.
And so his name was Xenolith. And he was
right?
Ziggy's mentor, creator of the Magimech arts.
I think that's badass.
Just a badass.
But just a total badass. Helps him escape. I mean, and then we get that whole bit with Arsenal having to fight the doctor who was messing up Hermit. And I was like, what the hell is this? I hated that guy.
So, yeah, he you find out he has a lot of his tentacles all over the place because he's also the one that fucked up Jin and Clean.
Yeah.
He fucked up both of them. And that was, I would say that is probably darker than anything we've gotten in Fairy Tail, just because mainly that's like a human on human sort of thing where it's like, I cut off all of her little brother or her brother's limbs right in front of her to see if I could break her emotionally. It's like, ooh, okay, that one is pretty dark.
Oh, and sister, love her. Went out of her way to save her. I love
sister's great. Sister's
all of
so good.
All the characters in this, they're just great. I've completely fallen for them.
I kind of saw the fight with, like Arsenal and the doctor. I just like watching that fight. I was kind of like, I get it. I've seen this. I get it.
The more of like, I'm just afraid I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal's like, I got your back kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of fight wore on me. I was like, I see how this is going to happen. I see why we're doing this.
Do you think Arsenal will be the more aggressive fighter throughout the whole thing? Because he's shown to be like more aggressive.
Right? Well,
I
don't think you ever get more aggressive than fucking Shiki, but...
I mean, Shiki and Drakken Joe. Drakken Joe just wasting people.
Shiki just went right off right at the start. So, but it's like he does seem like he's obviously the number 2. But I think Jin. I think we would compare it. I'm going to compare it to Fairy Tail. He would be like Gray, right? As in like he's kind of the number 2.
Who's Gray?
But I would say Weiss.
Oh,
Weiss
okay.
is like Gray, and Jin is like Gajeel. So
okay, yeah,
that's kind of how I'm seeing the relationship go, where it's like Jin is clearly stronger than Weiss, clearly, but like Weiss is gonna always be there. Like he's like the Gray.
He's the Gray.
I think that's just how it's gonna go.
That's just the dynamic of the whole
but
thing.
they're all good characters, and
at least we don't have a Wendy.
Yeah, thank God. So
sorry
Foresta
to anyone who does like her.
I like Foresta as a whole as well. It was kind of like the classic, we turn everything on its head, and Ziggy's a bad guy.
But I do like it, though, the whole exploring and looking for things. We even get little tidbits of it when they're exploring the mud place and all these other places. And all the relics, and they're like, oh, yeah, these were just random shit that we found.
Yeah, and then they basically mention that it's like it's parts or things that Mother has possessed, or like at one point they floated around her or on her, and they float the idea of people possibly living on Mother at one point.
Yeah, and I was like, huh, interesting.
So there's a whole bunch of different options of like, nobody really knows like what is Mother. Like,
I thought that was really cool.
It's still just like, they're just parts of her ether that were like sucking up, and it basically leads you to the next place.
Did you like the training arc?
Yeah, I did.
The one chapter, I think.
Weiss is still my boy, dude. I absolutely
love him. He's like, so the girl's bondage training, and he's the only one like in a sex swing.
So good, dude.
Oh God, I love him.
It was kind of I was kind of surprised Jin wasn't there. He was the only one that was like, nah.
He just didn't want to.
Yeah, but even Clean was like, yeah, I'm there. What's up?
But she's cool though. I like her going from like an emotionless chick who was just being used to being like, please help me, to now being like, hey, I want to be a part of everything.
I liked her. I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, but I liked her more when she didn't have emotions and her little hair thing was doing the emotions. I thought that was like I don't know.
That was very unique.
Yeah, it was unique. I think it was like it was more fun aside from like, I'm now just bubbly girl with emotion.
But now I like the fact that now they have a legit reason why they want to stay on the Eden.
Yeah. Well, she even before she got fixed, she said she wanted to stay.
She said she would miss everybody.
So it's like, I liked her more as the anti-personality person, but I'm glad she was fixed. Still, I'm not upset about it.
Do you like their battle suits, the 4 Shining Stars battle suits?
Yeah, badass. Dude,
I was like, what?
The 4 Shining Stars were great. They're absolutely like, I honestly don't have a problem with any of them. Yeah, they're so good.
I love them all. They're genuinely, like, Eden Zero's been nonstop great for me this whole time.
Yeah, and so a couple other things that we basically find out. We haven't mentioned Emperor Poseidon Nero at all. I mean,
technically the whole reason they're there is because they're technically invading a it's not a neutral zone. It's
Well, Foresta was a neutral zone,
Well,
was a neutral
Foresta
planet,
was,
but
yeah.
it's like that clearly went out the window almost instantly when they showed up there.
Ziggy's whole thing now is that he hates humans and he wants to turn everybody into
Yes.
like he wants to kill all humans basically.
Yeah, he wants mech should rule, fuck all humans, and if he has a reason for that or whatever, I don't know. I guess we'll find out later.
Yeah, because like he hacks that satellite that basically gives him the virus.
But so here's where I think that obviously Ziggy is ultimately a good guy. Because Nero, he does mention that he used to be a friend of Ziggy.
Yeah, I think so too. I think even though Ziggy is a good guy, like this version that we're seeing of him isn't actually him.
And they keep talking about in this training arc about how gravity can basically like pull your heart down as well and make you dark. So I'm thinking that might have something to do with it, where maybe like the gravity became too much
for Ziggy.
Like, yeah, like and he knew that I was like, oh, it's like I gotta
entrust everything to my child.
And so he like drained his own energy or shut down or whatever because he didn't want to become a bad guy. That would be my guess, that this gravity power is uber strong, but it's also like a double-edged sword. Like you will eventually
go bad. You use it too
bad.
much and it like swallows you up. Kind of like Miroku's wind tunnel. You use it too much, it'll eat you up
exactly,
alive.
Yes.
Pulling all these references.
Then we get to meet Shura, which is also a gravity user that Ziggy
he's
also
a
trained.
Fucking asshole.
Oh, big asshole.
Holy shit,
dude. When he had the girls and they were like, "Oh, what are you doing?" What? And then they start floating,
starts like,
and they're like, "Why so fast?" And then it just rains blood.
Yup. And I'm just like, "Holy shit!"
Like, what an introduction! Like,
holy.
That's just the straight up. Hey, I want you to know this guy is evil as shit. I'm gonna have him kill these two people instantly. Here you go.
Yeah, he won't be Drakken Joe sinister. He'll just be straight up bloodlust.
But like he seems crazy too, and he's also whereas like he was only trained a little bit, and then he's like, I just had the natural talent for it. So
and I was excited because I was like, oh, I want to see what is gonna happen, like gravity user versus gravity user, like how that fight's gonna go.
It would be cool to get a 3-way gravity versus gravity versus
so
gravity.
You want Ziggy in there versus
and just it all like fucking warp the planet.
just like
yeah.
What if they? This could be a thing. It causes the planet's alignment and gravitational pull to like
it totally could. Gravity
completely be destroyed,
honestly,
and then the whole planet gets fucked.
Gravity in space is a pretty strong power.
Oh yeah, very much so.
So, very, very, very strong. Gravity anywhere, very, very, very strong.
Can we talk about how Nero didn't give a fuck? He uses dice to kind of make decisions.
Yeah, so that's an interesting plot point to me because he basically rolls the dice and he's like, this is how I have become, what I am now.
Yeah, in
emperor.
one generation,
Like,
I created an empire.
I followed, this is my power. Like his ether power is this dice. And he rolls 3 ones. And he basically goes, oh, if that's my fate, so be it. I will do nothing. And then walks away. So that makes me think he either A, knows he's going to lose, know that his, like, maybe his whole empire is going to be taken from him.
Maybe he's dying or something?
I think he might. I think he knows he could potentially die, but I think he knows that it's his fate to lose everything at this point.
Okay, yeah.
Or like he's going to lose.
I mean, he is part of the galactic Oration says.
Yeah. I think the good one is Interstellar.
Interstellar, yeah. Technically the good guys.
Or yeah, no. So the bat. Okay, let me. The good ones are Interstellar. The bad ones are galactic.
We'll just call them the Galactics for right now, just for our sake.
The bad guys that we secretly like, who had Drakken Joe, Galactica.
Yeah, Galactica.
The good ones, which we'll call name-biting assholes. So fucking hell. But yeah, I think he got some sort of reading where it was like, hey, no matter what you're gonna do, like, because he's basically lived and died by this dice.
Yeah.
So I think he got like bad news, and he's like, okay.
He's like, I'm at.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna go enjoy my time, whatever.
He's gonna go vacations elsewhere.
Yeah. Couple of interesting things to throw onto the end as well. There is a Magimech ultimate secret technique, Black Sky.
Dude, when I read that, I was like, ooh, does he just like pull everything down? Or
I
don't
it might
know.
be that move that he used on Foresta, Xenolith, where he basically made everybody fucking go boom.
Yeah, I thought that was badass.
Because that was crazy. Rebecca is going to become the Chrono Witch.
I saw that and I was like, what? I mean, it was a Xiaomei,
which is
when she's like, I know everyone wants to see more of that bathing training arc.
Yeah.
But
when Sister walked in, I'm like, I
was like, God, she's a hottie.
And then we find out on the last chapter that basically Ziggy and Shura are going for a direct confrontation with each other.
Yep.
Where they both know the key thing to this is the All-Link system, which commands all of the bots.
And he totally baited
Cosmos.
him. He's like, oh, I know you're going to take this bait.
So yeah, so Ziggy is like, I knew he would react exactly like that. And then Shura is like, I know that he knows that's how I'm gonna react. So I'm waiting for his dumbass.
Yeah, I love it. The comedy, everything, the action. It's a great story. I love you.
Sure as like look when you first see him, he's like, okay, yeah, natural bad boy look, and then when he's giving his press conference, like, wow, he's all dressed nice. Like, okay, he looks
the
very
best
professional.
Part was Weiss. He's like, that's the look of an idiot.
Yeah,
that's your face, bro.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
so good, dude. I it honestly was so good. One other thing that like I when I was reading the last few chapters, I was thinking about it because they have the other beekeeper on their ship.
Yeah,
the one that likes to eat. I can't remember her name in the moment. But how did she make it out of the cosmos?
They grabbed her.
No, like the dragon cosmos. So to get to Foresta, you have to go through the dragon cosmos.
That's a good question.
So how did she get to Foresta?
But I mean, could there be beekeepers in the different?
There's got to be. Is there some sort of a legal travel system to go to the other side of the dragon cosmos? Because there were humans living on Foresta with the mech.
with the mechs and
but
stuff.
But that obviously could be like they could have always lived there, whatever. Yeah. But so like, is there?
Because she did say she traveled to that place to eat.
Yeah. So how did she get there?
The world may never
Maybe
know.
She's secretly a badass.
Oh, dude.
Because how does she make it out of the dragon?
She's going to be like that chick from Bleach from the Zero Squad.
yeah. Because I was thinking about that when they kept doing the ongoing joke where every time they get a new member, it's like, why are you still on the ship? What are you doing
everyone's
here?
like, why are you here?
And they do that to her, and I'm like, how did she even get there?
And Moscow.
I love that guy.
Dude.
Love that guy.
I'm weighing in, bud.
Yep. He only did it one time, which is good because they're not overplaying it, where he was like, I'm going to push the button. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
I was like, so good.
I love how it says, don't push.
Yeah,
do we know what it does?
No, we have no idea what it does. It's always been an ongoing joke. It was much more prevalent in the first like 8 volumes we read.
Yeah,
and then they seem like they
were constantly fighting.
They really chilled off on it now, which is great. I think they've hit the nice medium where it's like we get it.
It's gonna come back into play randomly, and be like, should I do it, guys?
It's still a good joke. I still like it. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say. I honestly, the Foresta arc isn't really all that deep. There's obviously a big confrontation, like with Elsie and Justice, and then her crew and some of the Justice's crew.
Yeah.
Eden Zero crew obviously fights some of the Poseidon crew
at that
point.
We get the Beast Squad that just got rolled by everybody else.
Yeah. So, but it's like I don't think anything too kind of crazy happens there. Like Homura doesn't like the heat. Got it.
I love that. I think it's funny. And then the one part with where. Who went to go save her? It was
Shiki.
I was gonna call him Iki for a split second, but Shiki goes and saves. She's like, "I got you. You're my friend." Spider. Oh God.
Yeah. So I think to wrap this all up as a whole, I genuinely did like this.
I very
manga.
much.
I thought it was very good. It harkens back to the old school times where we were reading fairy tale all the time, and it was just nonstop like cool moments, having fun. The comedy is really fucking good.
Character builds are amazing.
Shiki, Weiss, Homura, sister, Rebecca, they're all incredibly funny, like so good. All of them together is such a good
It's a great ensemble.
The action scenes obviously are always very good. It does have classic shonen tropes in it, which I think is what you get with all of them, where this is the first time they're doing any sort of a training arc, and it's fucking 134 chapters into it.
Yeah, but I like how they're like, let's just make it go like that.
Yeah, which I'm down for. It's time skip the training arc because you don't want to show everything you got.
Yeah, I mean, they did technically 35 days and 7.
Yeah, but it's been fantastic. It's been so good. I like it all. I like space. I like basically now we're going into the One Piece route where now
they're searching for something.
Yeah, they have a literal reason where it's like we're gonna hop basically from planet to planet to planet to planet and do all these cool unique adventures, which is awesome. I like the nonstop pace of it. It's great. Overall, very very good.
Yeah, and I mean we're getting the anime I think in late or mid April.
Yeah, it's coming up next season, so it'll be coming before you fucking know it. So definitely check out Eden Zero. If for some reason you're watching this and haven't read it and you just wanted to hear what we thought about it.
Well, we just spoiled everything for you,
yes.
So I'm sorry.
Super good. There's obviously little stuff we left out, which I think is for the better.
You want to like take it in all yourself. You can't just take our word for everything. Yeah, we did spoil a lot of plot points, but
Drakken Joe is obviously the best arc by far.
By far, most amazing.
Foresta was a nice breather. After that, I feel like it was pretty. I get what's going on. I get it. But overall, I'm looking forward to what's going on. It seems like there's going to be a big potential,
like a huge war clash,
potentially 5-way showdown with both the Eurasian Sace fake biter boys,
the Interstellar, the Galactica,
Ziggy's crew,
Eden Zero,
and then the Poseidon Nero crew. So that could potentially be really good. And if it's anything like One Piece with a big war arc, that's just gonna be fire.
Great.
It's gonna be absolutely fire. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll definitely keep reading it. Overall, I think it's good. Is it a lot like Fairy Tail in Space?
I think it's great.
Yes, sir. It is a lot like Fairy Tail in Space. But is it different and special and unique so much so that
it's its own entity? I think it's its own thing. I think Eden Zero is its own thing.
So I think that about sums it up. I genuinely liked it. I have a few big gripes about it, but I think as a whole package, it overshadows.
It's just too similar to like the same format.
It overshadows. But that's just a shonen format. So I think if you just go into it expecting what you're going to get, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Okay. That's been the Eden Zero portion. Thank you for watching so much. We're going to announce which series we're going to move on to next. 2 weeks from now, we'll be moving on to a new series, and we'll be doing the first 4 volumes. The next 4 we're doing, Jose, we'll have to fill in Josh later when he comes out of hiding, is called Parallel Paradise.
Parallel Paradise.
Now, I know shit all about it. Absolutely zero. But here's the draw on it, Jose.
Okay, hit me.
It's by the author of Elfen Lied. Or Elfen Lied.
Elfen Lied. So it's going to be pretty gruesome.
Potentially. So I don't know anything about it. I kind of like to browse and see what manga has come out recently. Yeah. And I kind of look like what's got a volume 4 that just came out. What's got like a volume 5 that just came out. This was on there and I was like, I don't think I've heard or seen of this one. And so I pulled up like the Amazon page. Like, let me see if we can actually get the volumes. It's by the creator of Elfen Lied. I think is how you technically pronounce it.
People really like it. So
I've seen it. It was good. It was good. It's a classic, really. It's classic.
Yeah, I know it's a classic, and I've been meaning to get back around to it.
So it'll be interesting to see how they handle Parallel Paradise. So stay tuned. 2 weeks from now, we're going to be checking out I don't even think it's his next work, but the newest work from the Elfen Lied author. So stick around for that. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe on the video. Let us know what you thought of Eden Zero. I'm sure you guys will. If you disagree with us, let us know in the comments down below. If you agree with us, let us know. What do you think is going to happen with the big AOE Cosmos fucking clash that's about to happen? It's going to be fucking crazy.
Let us know who your favorite character is.
Definitely, because Weiss, superiority. So
I'm all Humura like nonstop, dude. I love that woman.
Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to stick around. We will see you guys next time.